So today's wellness hour is going to be on the topic of self-care and really discussing and figuring out what is self-care. So, yeah, again, today's wellness topic is on self-care and really exploring what that is. So, hello everyone. I am Sarah and I am a Master's of Social Work Practicum student working with Lori at the Attachment and Trauma Treatment Center for Healing, ATTCH Niagara, as a student therapist. We will wait a few seconds to see if anyone else joins, but do feel free to introduce yourself in the comment section below if you feel like it. And we'll just wait a couple more seconds. And again, today's topic is on self care. Okay. Okay, so before we get started on really diving into self care, I'd like to acknowledge the land that I'm on today. I live in Cassidy, BC, on Vancouver Island, and I am working on the Coast Salish territories of the Sanemo First Nation and the Stinamus First Nations. I'd like to acknowledge that the Attached Niagara Center is in St. Catharines, Ontario, on Treaty 3 territory of both the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabe First Nations. I would like to thank these nations as well as all the other territories that have brought us together here today, thanking them for allowing us to live, laugh, learn, and love on their territories. I'd also like to thank all of you for being here today to receive this opportunity for learning and developing your own personal wellness. Thank you. Hi, Savannah. Okay. So one more step before we really get into it, let's do a grounding exercise to prepare for the teachings we're about to receive. So I invite you to plant both of your feet on the ground. Feel the ground under your feet. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable to you. And if not, just a dull gaze downward is totally fine. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And one more time. Keep up this relaxation breathing throughout this grounding exercise. Begin to feel the muscles in your face relax as you breathe. Allow the tension in your shoulders to release. Feel the back of your chair supporting your back. Feel the seat of your chair supporting your body. And really allow your body to relax into it. Feel the muscles in your legs begin to relax. And again, feel the floor beneath your feet. Take one more deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And when you're ready, open your eyes and come back. And if you want, you can let me know how that felt in the chat. Okay. So let's talk about self-care. It is kind of a buzzword that we all know and may or may not be able to explain. For this wellness hour, I thought we could explore it deeper and more fully to better understand why self care is important and what we need to know about it to really take care of ourselves. Today's information around self care has been adapted from the website thelawofattraction.com by Greater Minds. The website has been linked to this video for future viewing if you want to really dive into it. So, what is self care? First off, it is a broad term that can simply mean for one to do whatever it is that feels good for themselves, and it may include many, many things. When looking a bit deeper, the definition is it's about being as kind to yourself as you would be to others. It's partly about knowing when your resources are running low and stepping back to replenish them and letting them all drain away. rather than letting them all drain away. Pardon me. It also involves self compassion that is integrated into daily life. By integrating self compassion, we can live healthier lives as well as potentially prevent burnout. So, self care in the field, the helping field especially, and burnout are two huge terms that we hear all the time. And, I think that really revisiting the subject and why I was attracted to share talking about it today was just because it does affect me as well as a professional, but also in your personal life, especially during a pandemic. I think there's a lot of personal burnout going on in lives of people that aren't usually in the helping field because you're forced into more of a helping role or needing help yourself. Um, I do have to acknowledge at this point that not all that feels good is self care. By really learning the definition of what healthy self care looks like for us as individuals, we can decipher better what is truly good for us and what is not. Without knowing this, there is a possibility for destructive behaviors and unhealthy coping mechanisms to mask a self care. A good rule of thumb is that when you're practicing self care correctly, it has a long term benefit for the mind, body, or both. And if we look into it a little bit deeper, I am going to introduce the concept of true and false refuge. Tara Brach, who is a mindfulness practitioner, coined the concept of refuge, and this concept builds upon the window of tolerance as well as recognizes adaptive behaviors. Refuge is also common in those who have experienced trauma. False refuges are things that are illusions of helping us. For example, this could be substances and or alcohol use, engaging in risky behaviors, or even emotionally eating. It's not limited to that list, but that's what I came up with for this. In the moment, there can be positive feelings tied to whatever we are doing and maybe a sense of relief or release. But when we look closely and truly analyze it, the negative time really outweighs the positive moment while engaging in the false refuge. So it kind of ties into that same um, length of time that I talked about before, about how self care is really about that longevity and keeping us in a healthy space longer than the moment of doing the activity. And when we look at positive refuges, they are things that line up with our values, provide us with relief and potential for healing. They also include both practicing these strategies as well as reflecting upon them. If you are carrying too much energy, for example, anxiety or anger, you could put strategies in place to release it. This could be going for a walk, shaking it out, stomping it out, any way to get your body moving and releasing that. If you're feeling shut down or disassociated, we can work on strategies to stimulate ourselves through our senses to feel alive and more connected, such as using essential oils, getting into nature, meditation, music, etc. If you're feeling isolated, uh, it is tapping into how can you connect with others. And that can be as simply as using social media like we're doing today, or reaching out to friends and family and learning to express what your needs are and how you need to connect. And also reflecting, practicing that, but also reflecting on that. Because there could be times where you are connecting and it doesn't go so well, or it isn't really what you needed. So giving your that self that time to reflect on your own personal needs and what is good for you. And again, they all take practice. And just to really hit it home, it's about noticing and reflecting. The information on true and false refuges has been adapted from Lori Gill, who is the founder and CEO of ATTCH Niagara, and who I'm working with as a student therapist. She discusses this concept on our YouTube channel, and I did link that video as well to this video, so you can take a look at it after watching this if you like. You can also find more resources on this concept with on Tara Brock's website, which is also linked to this video as well. So let's talk about the benefits of self-care. I have a top 6 list that I'm going to read that is directly from the website. The most obvious benefits are mood and energy boosts, but you'll see in these lists there are many more, and the lists are uh, yeah, it's a top 6 list, but it's not it's not everything for everyone. Okay. So one, better productivity. When you learn how to say no to things that are that overextend you and start making time for things that matter more, you slow life down in a wonderful way. This brings your goals into sharper focus and helps you to concentrate on what you are doing. It can improve resistance to disease. There is evidence that most self care activities activate your parasympathetic nervous system, PNS. What this means is that your body is going to into a more restful, rejuvenated mode and can help to fortify its immune system. You can get better physical health. Similarly to the previous point, with better self care, often comes fewer colds, cases of the flu, and upset stomachs. Less stress and a better immune system can surely help you feel more physically able and strong inside and out. It can enhance your self esteem. When you regularly carve out time that's only about being good to yourself and meeting your own needs, you send positive messages to your subconscious. Specifically, you treat yourself like you matter and have in true and have high value. uh, this can go a long way toward discouraging negative self-talk and that critical inner voice. You also increase your self knowledge. Practicing self care requires thinking about what you really love to do. The exercise of figuring out what makes you feel passionate and inspired can help you understand yourself a lot better. Sometimes this can even spark a change in a career or cause you to reprioritize something that you like a hobby that you've previously abandoned. And self care also allows you to have more to give. When you're good to yourself, you might think you're being selfish. In truth, self care gives you the resources you need to be compassionate to others as well. Giving compassion is a little bit like filling a bucket. You can't fill someone else's until you have filled your own. So, did you know that there are 5 main categories of self care, which tie into the top 6 list there? There is sensory, emotional, spiritual, physical, and social. And I'm also going to go through them in a moment here. I'm just wondering if anyone has any questions or comments that we want to touch on before I move ahead. I'll just take a quick sip of water. Okay, so let's dive into it. So we're going to start with sensory self-care first. So this is all about helping yourself to calm your mind. This means living in the present, letting go of the past, and not worrying about the future. When you think of sensory self-care, think about all 5 senses and how you can incorporate them into your self-care practices. These are some ideas that were directly from the website. So you could, to engage in sensory self-care, you could be cuddling up under a soft blanket, going outside and focusing on the smell of air, watching the flames of a candle or a fire, feeling the water on your skin during a hot bath or shower, focusing on the movements of your own breathing, lying down and listening to music with your eyes closed, sitting in the heat of an afternoon sun, having a small square or the most delicious chocolate and really appreciating it, walking barefoot in the grass, having a massage with essential oils, or holding a pet in your arms. And again, those are just examples and not something that you have to do. But if you're trying to figure out things to tap into your sensory self care, those could be some suggestions that could work for you. When we look at emotional self care, it is about meeting your emotions head on and not ignoring them, allowing yourself to feel them, reflect on them, and also move past them, not punishing yourself for your emotions that you cannot accept. This is really hard work. And as you'll see from the ideas, sometimes this is best worked through a therapist or counselor. For example, if you have trauma that you're wanting to work through, you could reach out to ATTACH Niagara and potentially work with one of our therapists here and really get into that and move through it, okay? And some ideas for emotional self care are keeping a daily journal and being totally honest about your feelings within that journal, seeing a therapist, like I mentioned before, uh, write a list of feeling words to expand your emotional vocabulary, make time to be with friends or a family member who truly understands you. Um, let yourself cry when you need to. This isn't a part of the list, but I just want to touch on that a little bit. That when tears come to us, it's because our body needs to release something. And unfortunately, many of us are taught to be embarrassed about needing that release, but it is so healthy and so good for you in that moment. And really honoring that and allowing yourself to release can just help you so much further than that moment. So consider that if something does come up for you and you need to, not choking it back. Okay. Um, there's only a few more things on the list. So deliberately encouraging yourself to laugh with old memories or funny videos. Sing along to a song that best expresses your current emotions. We're going to talk about spiritual self care next. And this is not all about religion, just so you know. But faith can be a part of it if that is important to you. What it is all about, it is about getting in touch with knowing what your values are and what really truly matters to you. Really taking that time to connect and understand that it is really your own self interpretation. And that's it's kind of good to talk about spirituality because a lot of time we do link it to faith, and it's not always that way for everyone. And for some, it is a very deep rooted in religion, which is totally fine as well. So some ideas that I got from the website again are keeping up a daily meditation or mindfulness practice. So tuning in here every day in June, you can get that. But there's also resources on YouTube, on the internet. You can even look once things open up again. A lot of community centers have meditation opportunities or mindfulness groups that you may be able to tap into as well. Sorry, my dog is harassing my cat. I apologize for that. Um, you could attend a service, whether it is religious or human. I apologize for that. um, again, with self-care, another idea is to attend a service, whether it is religious or humanistic. You could read poetry, walk in nature, and reflect on the beauty around you. Make a daily list of 5 to 10 things that make you feel grateful. Be creative, whether through art, music, writing, or something else entirely. Make a list of 5 to 10 things that make you feel alive and ask yourself of how you can better incorporate these into your daily life. Say affirmations that ground you and your sense of self and purpose. I did a wellness day last week about positive affirmations that you could look at with some more ideas about what that looks like and how you could incorporate that into your life. And also, you could go on a trip with the sole purpose of photography and taking pictures of things that inspire you that you can look back upon later. The next area of self care that we're going to look at is the physical. So, this is important not only for your body health, but also for you to get out of your mind and into your body. It also helps you blow off steam and process life. It also isn't just about going to the gym, which I think is really important to note because that's our fallback, especially in Western culture, is just about, if you need to get your body moving, go to the gym, go to the gym. But that's not always great. And especially during this time in the pandemic, things are opening up, but a lot of things haven't yet. So going to the gym may not be an opportunity right now. So some of the ideas from the website are dance to your favorite songs, do yoga. Even if you've never tried it before, there are poses that are perfect for beginners and it's highly accessible. Again, YouTube, the internet is just such a wealthy resource for yoga and mindfulness, meditation, and it all ties into that. You can join a class and learn a new sport. And you can do these online as well. There are classes that through different gyms and what have you. If you're interested in, say, learning a certain type of dance like hip hop or something, you could actually do it from home as well. You can go running with your dog or a friend's dog or by yourself. You can go for a bike ride. Simply go for a walk, get outside, breathe in that fresh air. And in addition, remember that physical self care is as much about things you don't do as the things you do. So, nap when you need to. Just 20 minutes can make you feel mentally and physically refreshed. I also did a wellness hour last week about that. So if you look on our page, you can find more about napping if you're interested. Um, Another thing that you can do is say no to invitations when you're simply too tired to enjoy them. Don't push yourself to do exercise routine when you're run down or unwell, and commit to 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, barring exceptional circumstances. Which, for me personally, the sleep one I have a really hard time committing for. So it's also good for me to be reading this for my own self care and to remind myself that how important that is for my physical self care. And the last area of self care that we're going to talk about is social self care. Uh, this is very different from person to person, as well as depending on what's going on in the world. For example, this page is a social self care hub that was created due to the pandemic and also just to connect with people with where they're at in the world right now. It is also, social self care is also about connecting with other people that make you feel good and not about obligations of having to meet up with certain people. Uh, some ideas around self care are to make a date to have lunch or dinner with a great friend, write an email to someone who lives far away but who you miss. And I'm going to throw in there that you can also write a letter. The mail is still going. If you wanted to send some through post, that's great. I enjoy personally receiving letters and can feel really good kind of going back to that pen pal way of communication. You can reach out to someone you like but haven't seen in a while. Consider joining a group of people who share your interests. ATTACH Niagara, our our caring community connections page right here. You can stop socializing with those who undermine you or disempower you. So this goes back to what I was saying about the obligation piece, and it's really important to notice and reflect how you're feeling when you're around certain people. And that is okay to say no and put those boundaries up and not engage with them if you know that it's not helping your self-care. You can strike up to a conversation with someone interesting. Join a support group for people who struggle with the same things as you do. And you could also sign up for a class to learn something and meet new people at the same time. Okay, so in the idea of self care, we are now going to do a wellness meditation to really get into the mindset of what self care is and could be for you. Uh, if anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the chat. I know I kind of listed off a lot of things there, but the nice thing is that you can review this video back and I'll be around to answer any questions or comments that come up after this video or even for a while after that, okay? All right, so let's get started on our self-care exercise today. It is a wellness meditation, and it is a wellness imagery script that was created by Martin L. Rossman, and it has been adapted directly from psychcentral.com and is going to be linked or is linked to this video. So after we're done here, if you're feeling like this really worked for you, you can go back and get it for yourself and try it again, okay? So, one of the ways that we can use imagery is to help us envision ways that we would like to be. We can imagine how we would most like to be, what qualities we would like to embody, how we might look, how we might move, how we might interact with others. The qualities, the energy, the posture, the way of being that we would like to grow into. So I'm going to invite you to do a brief imagery exploration of your image of wellness. And I'm going to simply invite you to imagine how you would be if you were really enjoying the highest level of wellness that you can imagine for yourself. Imagining yourself this way can give you something to aim for. It can give you a blueprint. It can remind you of qualities you'd like to develop and embody in yourself as you enjoy your high level wellness. And it can also help to motivate you to care for yourself in the ways that can most likely lead you to enjoying this high level of wellness. So let's begin by getting in a comfortable position and taking a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And one more of those. Begin to shift your attention from the outer world and into the inner world. You might find it easier to close your eyes, but you're welcome to open them at any time. And as you breathe in, imagine and notice that your breath is fresh energy, fresh oxygen that flows through your system. And allow your out breath to be a real letting go kind of breath, releasing and relaxing any tension or discomfort that you don't need to hold right now. And anytime you feel like relaxing more deeply, let yourself breathe deeply again. And breathe in fresh energy and oxygen and clarity. And allow the breath out to carry away any tensions, discomfort, or distraction that you don't need to hold. And as you begin to relax and go inside, imagine that you go to a place that you like to be in, a place of beauty and of peacefulness and of comfort to you, a special place that you enjoy being in. It may be a place that you've imagined being in before, or a place that you've actually gone in your life to be with yourself. Or it can be a new place that just occurs now. It doesn't really matter as long as it's a peaceful and beautiful and safe place. Find a spot where you feel most centered and comfortable there as you notice what you imagine seeing around you. What are you hearing? What are you smelling? What are you feeling? Notice the temperature of the time and the time of day and the season of the year. Let yourself get very comfortable and centered. And then, when you're ready, simply invite an image to form there of what simply invite an image to form there with you of yourself, enjoying your high level of wellness. Welcome that image in your awareness and allow it to become clear. An image of you enjoying the highest level of wellness you can imagine. Remember to continue your relaxation breathing. Take some time to simply observe this image. It may look like you, or it may be a symbolic representation of this wellness. But notice what it looks like. What is it wearing, if anything? Notice if it moves and how it holds itself. What is its posture like? Notice what its face is like. Notice what the image is doing, if anything. And notice whether there are other people or living things or non living things that are a part of this image of high level wellness for you. Notice especially the qualities that this image seems to embody. What are the qualities you sense in it that convey a sense of wellness to you? And how do those qualities seem to be connected with the sense of with that sense of wellness? If you feel comfortable with it, imagine yourself becoming this image. Like you can just slip into it like a suit of clothes and notice how that feels. And notice your own posture and the way your face feels as you notice yourself enjoying this level of high level wellness. And as this wellness, well self, imagine looking out of the eyes of this image. How does the world look from this perspective? If you had a motto, what would it be? Notice especially how it feels to experience those feelings of wellness within you. Become yourself again and observe the image of wellness once more. Continuing to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Does it seem the same or different in any way? Is there anything you've learned about it or from it in this short period of time? If you were to want to move toward being more like this image in your daily life, what might you do to support that? What barriers or obstacles come up as you think about that? And how might you deal with those in a healthy way? If you choose to take a step towards more wellness today. When you're ready, thank the image for coming and turn your attention back to the outer world, letting all the images fade and go back to where they came from. And bring back with you whatever you feel is important or interesting about this experience. And when you come fully awake and back to the outer world, you may want to take a few minutes, if you're comfortable, to write about your experience. And you can even put anything in the chat that you felt or feel like sharing. And when you're comfortable, come back, open your eyes if they were closed, and take another deep breath. Okay. So, again, that was a wellness imagery meditation that was created by Martin L. Rossman. And again, I've linked it to this video if that really worked for you and you want to try it again on your own outside of this experience. So today's wellness hour was all about self-care. I really jam-packed it with lots of information, so you might want to rewatch this video or connect to the website, The Law of Attraction, and that's where the self-care tips came from. And again, it's linked to this video. Uh, yeah, I actually feel really grounded after reading out that script. So I'm feeling pretty good. I hope that others are feeling the same way. I really do appreciate those that watched live. It's awesome to have you along with this journey. And those that are going to watch this later, thank you again for taking the time and looking into self-care and also into your own wellness. It takes a lot. And keep on coming to our page. I'll keep promoting it, the Attached Niagara Caring Community Connections page. We do have a lot of tips for wellness. We have a lot of gratitude going on for the month of June. That's our theme. As well as my colleagues are doing wellness hours and gratitude posts. And so make sure to tap in as you see things come up. And as with what we were talking about in self-care, really understand that not everything's going to work for you, and that's okay. And do come back as you see things that maybe are more interesting or just connect better with where you're at and what you need in this moment. I will be posting again at 4:30 Eastern, another gratitude break, and then tonight for 8 p.m. Eastern, there will be a evening meditation post done. So I will be seeing you later today, and I really hope that you have a good rest of day, a good weekend, and I will be back next Thursday posting. But make sure to check out again my colleagues. Melanie and May and Connor are all posting, and of course Lori will probably be posting as well as we do have guest practitioners that are adding to this page, and really just adding an opportunity for your own wellness. And I really do encourage you to tap into that if you're able to. So thanks again for being here. And again, I'm Sarah, and I'm one of the student therapists with ATTCH Niagara, and I hope you all have a good day. Thank you.